Hello, good morning. My name is Sherry and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. And I just wanted to let you know that I do have several other videos on here. All of them are titled My Grief Journey, I think like 1 through 9 or something like that. I definitely would invite you to go check out some of my other videos, especially the first one, because it is where I'm really talking a lot about my grief journey. But that being said, I will go ahead and let you know. I'm going to move this table just a little bit. Okay. But I will, like I said, my name is Sherry. My grief journey started September 20th of 2024. My husband passed away. And so it's definitely been a journey. It's been full of ups and downs. That's why I mentioned in the first video, because I say in there things that I have done that have helped me, things that have not, and just trying to give my insight onto what is working for me. And just because it works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. I've started making these videos to help me in my healing. It's very therapeutic for me to talk about this. It's really, really helped. So I did want to say to anybody, whether you've been following or you're new, definitely if you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, so that you won't miss the new videos. I am trying to put one out every day. I did have a little problem with that earlier, but I am going to go ahead and try that. And and also to mention, I did get some comments, and by the way, I love my comments. Anytime you comment, it's so appreciated. It is so, so much appreciated that you took the time out to send me a message. And this is going to sound crazy, but when you're alone and when you've been alone for over a year, a simple little thing like a comment and somebody actually talking to you, it means a lot. I know, it probably means more than it should, but it does. It means I enjoy the comments. So, if you want to comment, I would very much appreciate it. But that being said, back to what I was started to say, I received some comments talking about a comment said something about they can't wait till I start making even more videos than one a day. And my first thought is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm taking my shoe off. I'm sorry. I am just as real can be. I mean, I don't hide anything. But I just got off work, and so anyway, getting comfortable. But anyway, as far as doing more than one, that is, it's a possibility. I like what you said. You mentioned sometimes I might just want to jump on and say what I'm feeling in that moment, and I haven't been right now, just with Christmas. It's crazy because I'm working so much at Amazon, so I don't have time, and I barely have time to do this, but I'm finding the time. But I do appreciate the comment, and I will definitely think about that, and think about how when things calm down and it's after the holidays, how sometimes I just might just pop on and just say whatever's happening at that moment. So anyway, I did want to talk a little bit today about Christmas. I know I've talked about it a couple of times already, and as you see, that's my little Christmas tree behind me. The lights are not on, but that's my little Christmas tree behind me. And I don't know if you can see the little church beside that little church right here, right there where my finger was, right there, that little church. That's a little wooden. It's a little. I'm gonna move the camera just a hair. There. Well. Trying to get it in the frame, and I'm not getting there. There. You see, I'm going to move it over. You see that? See that little church right there? Okay, I'm going to move it back where it was. See, anyway, that little church. It's a little log cabin church, and my husband made that. So that's the only reason I'm bringing it up. He made that. He made those. He made log cabin churches and little log cabins and things like that. I've been asked, so I'll answer this question. I've been asked about the horns. And by the way, I've moved. I mean, I've been making so many videos on the other side of the room that I thought I wanted to make a video with the Christmas tree behind me. So, but anyway, somebody did ask me about the horns. Oh, and look, I don't know if you can see my shirt. Let me see the snowman. Yeah. I was Christmassy at work last night. Anyway, what I started to say, I did get a question about the horns, because they see the horns. Well, definitely, yes. First of all, I'm in Texas. Okay. We have the Texas Longhorns. But those horns are very, very old. Those horns belong to my father. And let's see, I'm trying to think. I bet those horns are at least 50 years old, if not more. Because I remember when he got them, it was his brother had given them to him. And I was probably, might have been 10, probably younger than that. But anyway, I would say, let's see. I mean, just, probably around 50, 51 years old. They're old. And the actual leathering on it is really, really in bad shape. It needs to be redone. But anyhow, that was just answering a question somebody had questioned me about the horns. So anyhow, and okay, here's trouble again. There. She's always got to bug me when a little stinker. But like I said, she's my little sweetheart. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to talk about Christmas just a moment more. I mean, I definitely, we've talked about Christmas, and I want to talk about Christmas. I know firsthand, Christmas is very hard. Christmas is so hard. But we've got 9 more days. 9 more days. And it's over with. Okay? Until next year. Okay? So, I was thinking about it on the way home in the car. I was thinking about it because obviously I want it over just because it's so hard. But also I want it over to get my life back because working at Amazon, we're working 6 days a week. As soon as Christmas is over, then we go back to our normal schedule where we work 4 days a week. And so then I'll have so much more time. But as far as the grief aspect, it's 9 more days. We can make 9 more days. We can do this. You can do it. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. This will be my second Christmas without my husband. But I know he's going to be with us. I totally believe that. I believe that he will be with us. He will be with us. I know he will. I know he will be here. And that is probably what will help me get through it. Just knowing that he's with us. And last year, I think I told you this in a previous video, I didn't even want to do Christmas. In fact, honest to goodness, this is a true story. When my husband passed away, the first 2 calls that I made, I called his 2 kids, his 2 sons, and and I remember I called the oldest one first. I don't know why. I wasn't thinking about who to call for. I just knew I had to call both of them. But when I was talking to the younger one, which they're both grown men, I mean, I can absolutely remember saying, after I let him know and everything, I remember crying and telling him, I cannot do the holidays this year. Don't even ask me to do them. I can't do it. And that was at the very beginning. That was at the very, very, but it went through my mind. You have all these, from the get-go, I had all these crazy thoughts. And why in that moment I thought about Christmas, I don't know, but I did. It popped into my mind. I couldn't do it. I did do Christmas last year, but it was hard. I did not do Thanksgiving last year. I just didn't. And I don't know that I will ever host Thanksgiving again. And my grandchildren, they can't wait. And it has helped me, I guess, a little bit to try to do things a little bit more normal. My house, as you see, teeny weeny tree, and my house is not very decorated. I have very few things up, and there was a time when every room was decorated and everything, and it's not like that now. But anyway, one thing that I want to mention that has helped me a bunch, and this might help anyone who has lost a spouse. And I know that I might get a lot of followers that, it's a completely different situation. It's not a spouse. But right now, this portion, this statement is for somebody who's alone and lost a spouse, and not only lost a spouse, but is alone. That there's nobody else living with you. And this helped me last year at Christmas time, and I know it's going to help me this year. We do our Christmas on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, my stepsons and my grandchildren will come over, and that's when we do our Christmas. But what's hard is Christmas Eve. Because Christmas Eve, I would be all alone. And that's even hard for me. That's been hard for me for years, because years ago, I used to go over to my parents on Christmas Eve. Well, then after they passed, Christmas Eve, that was always missing. But, I did still have my husband. Well, anyway, what I did last year and what I'm going to do this year, I have a sister who is in a nursing home. And in 2009, she went into cardiac arrest. And she lived, obviously, but she went too long without getting oxygen to her brain, and it caused brain damage. And now her short-term memory is gone. I mean, she just cannot remember things. And it's very, very, very sad. She is right now, she's 66. But this happened in 2009. She has been in a nursing home since then. But that's what I did last year. I got her. I went and got her. She spent the night with me on Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve, it was just me and her. We had a Christmas just us. And it was good. We did presents for just us that night. And now, with her forgetfulness, she forgot we did that. And so the next day, when I had Christmas with everybody, well, I had to make sure she had something to open, because she completely forgot that she opened anything the night before. But it helped me to get through Christmas Eve, and I know that she enjoyed it. I know that she did. And last year I got her Christmas Eve, and then she was here with us Christmas Day, and then that evening I took her back. This year I'm keeping her for 2 nights. I'm keeping her Christmas Eve and Christmas night, and taking her back the next day. And so it's just spend a little time with my sister, and that's another thing. Grief can happen to you even if somebody didn't die. Okay? Grief does not necessarily have to be a death. You could be grieving a loss of any kind, and a loss of a job, a loss of a home, like if your house got foreclosed on, a lot. But in that case, I definitely was grieving my sister. I've been grieving my sister for years. Yes, she's still here, but she's not the same person that she was, and we don't have the same relationship that we had. She still calls me. I mean, she calls me all the time. And something weird, I'll tell you, that this is weird too. Because she has short-term memory loss really bad. She just doesn't remember. I can talk to her on the phone, and 10 minutes later she's forgot she's talked to me. And she remembers things that happened a long time ago, but she don't remember things, that just happened. And she has no memory at all of my parents passing away. But she has not one time forgot my husband Buddy has died. She has, from the time she was told that, she has not forgotten it. And she worries about me. So somewhere in her little brain, she's being my big sister, and she's worried about me, and she'll call me, and it'll always be, "Are you okay?" And I'll be, "Well, yeah, I'm okay. What do you mean?" "Well, Buddy died." And I'm like, and I'll have, and but in her mind, she thinks it just happened. And so if I ever tell her, it's been this long, she's like, "Oh, I didn't know it was been that long." Not that, I'm still grieving, but I don't, what do I always say? It's okay to not be okay. But when she asks me how I am, I generally say, "Oh, I'm okay," because I don't want to worry her. I don't want to worry her at all. But anyway, the whole point of that whole story was to tell you that if you're alone, think of options that you might have to not be alone, to not spend any of it alone. Because with me getting her, I'm not alone on Christmas Eve. I'm not alone Christmas Day. And this year, she's staying with me Christmas night too. So I won't be alone until the 26th when I take her back. So then I've already gotten through most, all of it really, except for New Year's, but that's okay. But I think it's going to help me. I think it's going to help me a whole lot to because when I have her, so much of my time is taking care of her. And so, I always feel like I have to keep her entertained. And watching a movie with her is interesting because by the end of the movie, at the end, when you're towards the end of the movie, she's already forgot the beginning of the movie. So it's like, she because you'll be at the end of the movie and you'll say something and she'll and you can tell she just didn't remember what she just saw. And that's like Little House on the Prairie. We grew up watching Little House on the Prairie, and that was one of her favorite shows. And now she'll watch Little House on the Prairie and she'll say, well, I've never seen this before. And she has. She's seen it a bunch. But anyway, that being said, I brought her up for the reason of she's going to help me at Christmas, I know, emotionally. And it'll be good for her. But also, just to mention, I've had to grieve her too. I've had to grieve our relationship. I've had to grieve what I struggled for years to try to understand why God saved her but didn't make her whole. And I finally just had to accept the fact that I'll never know. It was not, that was not my decision. That was God's decision. And I'll never understand why, but it's not up to me. So, but it was hard. It was a struggle. It was a real struggle to try to come to terms with that. But anyway, so this whole grief thing, I guess I could say I'm no stranger to it. I've had, I mentioned in my first video about my mom and my dad and my brother. Now my brother had lung cancer, and I took care of him, and I took care of my mother too. I take care of everybody. I have taken care of so many people that have passed. And my mom, my dad, my brother, my mother-in-law, Buddy, my husband, but now it's at the point where I'm alone. Everybody's gone and I'm all alone. And it gets, it's really, really easy to get sad and depressed and, and I'm trying to get through this holiday season. And when I first wanted to talk to you about Christmas, that was the main thing. I wanted to mention that about what I'm doing this year. Like I said, I just, if you are alone, if there's any way that you can get somebody to spend time, I know that not everybody can do that. I know that not everybody has family close to them, or, I understand that. I totally understand that. I'm trying to think of anything else I could, I'm sorry, because I was trying to think of anything else I could say if you're alone to get through it. Hopefully, if you are living alone, you've got somebody that you can spend Christmas with. Because right when I said that, living alone is one thing, but spending the holidays all alone is something totally different. And I hope that nobody out there is having to be totally all alone on Christmas. I really hope, I really, really hope nobody is. But I know that that's always a possibility. So if there is anybody that's totally alone, I would, first of all, I don't know. I totally got at a loss with that, because that just really made me sad to think of anybody being totally alone on Christmas. That just, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know. I can't even give advice on that, because that just absolutely, it kind of floored me when I thought about it. Because I know that I'm alone. I'm alone all the time, but I know that I do have family. I just don't see them that often. So I'm just going to get off of that because I don't have advice for that. All I can say is as I just pray that nobody is going to be alone on Christmas Day. Okay? And this video is getting a little bit longer than what I wanted, but I've said this whole video and I have not said one word about my 3 things yet. And I say it every time. You know it, right? So the first thing, it's okay to not be okay. It's absolutely okay to not be okay. And by the way, I did have a decent night at work last night. It was pretty good. So, but as if y'all been following me, you know I've had my good days and my bad. And it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to cry. It is not a failure at all if you have a bad day, if you have the ugly cry, if you're having, it's okay to not be okay. All right? The second thing, unfortunately, grief never ends. It never ends. I know that there's others that will say that it does. I know that there's things that will say that after you go through the stages and after you go through acceptance, it ends. No, it don't. It does not end. It changes. Our journey changes as time goes. Our journey changes, but the grief is still there. It's very much still there. And the third one is love never dies. Love never ever dies. And so, and the last thing I'm going to say before I end this video is some other 2 things that I've been saying on all my videos. One is try to think of something positive today. Try to think of something positive that you have done this day, or just something positive that has happened to you this day. Think of at least one positive thing from this day. And the other thing is to think of at least 3 blessings. Because I promise you, when you start counting your blessings, and you will be able to count more than 3, but when you count your blessings, you will realize that, Christmas is tough. And yes, we've lost something or someone. And in doing these videos, I'm, because of course it's easy for me to feel sorry for myself. And then I realize, but I'm not the only one out there that's ever lost somebody. Some people's lost more than one. I have 2, but some people have lost like multiples at one time, and so you never know. You never know what people are going through and other people are going through. There's a lot of people grieving this holiday season. And so just try to be kind. Try to be kind to people that are grieving. Just be mindful of the fact that they are grieving, and to be kind, because they're hurting. And it's hard. I mentioned in another video, when there's a room full of people, I feel alone because somebody's missing. Even though there's a room full of people, my other half is gone. And it gets really, really hard, especially, when it is better when it's at my house. When it's at my house, it's my safe place, so it gets a little bit better. But the other thing, like I mentioned when I just said that about counting your blessings, though, because when you start counting your blessings, you start realizing, instead of focusing on what you've lost, focus on what you have. And you will start to realize, you're blessed. There's a lot of things you have, that is a lot of blessings. And so with that, I'm going to end this video. It is almost 30-minute long video already. So everybody have a very, very blessed day. And I will talk to you tomorrow.